Okay, day two, back on the old Canadiana Snowblower. The objective for today is to get this cover off. Unfortunately, I'm going to have to remove this yet again. There are teeny tiny little bolts in there. They're hard to get at, but I can get to them. Take the shroud off and see if this has electronic ignition or does this have points and condenser. I'm hoping for electronic. Maybe clean it up a bit and try and get some spark out of this. Hopefully I don't have to replace the coil. Most likely I will. Most likely it's gone bad. Like I said in the previous video, story goes this thing's been sitting over 3 years in tall grass beside this guy's garage. So luckily the tall grass perhaps saved the tires. They don't look too terribly destroyed, but the engine was out in the open in the sun for those 3-4 years. So going to slowly get this off. Don't really want to snap anything. Get it taken apart and we'll pick up the video then. Okay, I just want to point out something here. They definitely don't make this fun to get any of this stuff off. I've actually had to remove 3 head bolts. Got these 2 bolts off up here, got the 2 bolts off on the underside. Then there's one more smaller bolt here. These are from the old starter. I don't know if I'm going to have to remove this one right here or not. All to get the shroud off. It's at least somewhat loose now. These basically use a standard 8-horse shroud. These go between 8 and 10 horse on the Briggs and Strattons. So that's basically what this engine is. If this was in a vertical, this would all work on a vertical as well. There's not really any difference between the engines besides being horizontal to a vertical. And the carburetors are obviously different. But they definitely don't make serviceability very easy on these. Especially, you got to put your head bolts back in if you want to try to refire the engine. I've done that before where I've left 2 head bolts out on the gas tank side and I blew the head gasket right there. So you just gotta be careful with your head bolts. Don't remove them all. Don't want to take off too much pressure on your head, and just really go at it and probably put these head bolts back in once I get this off, especially if I want to try and test fire this machine. Stay tuned. Let's see what's underneath this shroud. Okay, this is how I found it exactly when I removed the cover. A couple bee nests. The starter on the flywheel is actually seized to the little ratchet here. Flywheel's pretty rusty. The coil is to be expected. Really, I'm worried about the coil bolts up here. Oh, another big bee nest right there. I'm worried about snapping these bolts off up here. So if I can clean this and get spark, that's what I'm going to do. I really don't want to snap these off, because as soon as those snap off, the engine's junk. It's not worth drilling and tapping them. So I'm hoping I can just do a quick clean on the magnet, crank it over, see if it has spark, and go from there. But yeah, it's definitely an interesting one. That's a hornet's nest right there. But I might get lucky. This might come undone, but I really don't want to break off anything. I had just enough room to get the shroud between the actual snowblower and the engine. It can be done. It's not fun, but hey, that's what you get for working on the old ones. But like I said, if this thing is not going to run, it's not being saved. It's going for scrap. So it's going to take too much to get it to run. I don't think I'm going to fix it anyways. I might just post it up on Kijiji as is and get rid of it. We'll see. But I'm jumping to conclusions. We got to figure out what's going on, see if it's going to run or not. So I guess stay tuned to the next video to see if this thing will have spark and see if this thing will actually run. I'll talk to them later. Please keep it redneck like always, and please leave a comment. Okay, I made an interesting discovery about this Canadiana Snowblower. It's actually got points. That's why it doesn't have spark. I was actually able to remove the coil, or condenser, whatever you really want to call it, and when it comes to points and condenser. But there's a wire going underneath the flywheel, and it's not the kill wire. That would be a points wire. So I'm going to look for a coil, see if I have an electronic one that will directly replace this one, which I should. And we might go from there, because I really don't want to take this flywheel off and clean points. It's not that hard to do, but if I can just swap this guy out with an electronic, I'm really going to do so, because like I said, I don't want to put too much more time into this machine. I don't even know if it's going to run. I don't even really know what the internal condition is of this machine. So it's interesting, because I guess with the metal gas tank, that does kind of age the machine, but I was not really expecting to see points. So hey, it's got them. And there's the kill wire right there. It's going underneath the flywheel as well. So stay tuned and for the next clip and see if this thing will actually run. I'll talk from there. Please keep it redneck like always, and please comment.